Happy Thursday. Today we are going to talk about problem and solution. You have this worksheet. We're not going to use it right away. We're going to do chapters 1 and chapters 2 together, and then chapter 3 you will actually write. So for right now, you don't need the paper. You'll be able to see what I'm doing up here. You do need your anthology, and you need to open it up to page 202. Thomas Edison, Inventor, by David A. Adler, illustrated by Sarah Snow. Over here in the corner, we're starting with genre, biography. We talked about this at the beginning of the week. Do you remember what a biography is? Think about it for a minute. A biography is a story written about a real person by another person. And in it will be facts and information about their life. And our essential question of the week is, what inventions do you know about? Read about inventor Thomas Edison. And you can see from looking at this picture that Thomas Edison lived a while ago. Chapter 1. You should be following along with your book. Young Tom Edison asked lots of questions. When someone told him, "I don't know," Tom had one more question. He asked, "Why don't you know?" He did lots of experiments to find out. Tom watched a goose sit on some eggs. He saw the eggs hatch. He wanted to know what would happen if he sat on eggs. So Tom made a nest. Then he put goose and chicken eggs in the nest. Next, he sat on the eggs and found out. Splat! So you can see that in chapter 1, already we have a problem and a solution. So what was the problem? I really miss my smartboard. So the problem, Tom wonders what will happen if he sits on eggs. That's the problem, right? He wanted to know what would happen if he sat on the eggs. Well, what are the steps that he's going to do to find out? He makes a nest and puts eggs in it, and he sits on the eggs. So here's his problem. Here's how he's going to go about solving his problem. And then, of course, we have the solution, which is he learns that the eggs break. There's our problem. Here's our steps to the solution. And there's our solution for chapter 1. Okay, so let's move this down here. And let's continue reading. Young Tom also knew that birds ate worms, and birds could fly. What if people ate worms? Tom guessed that they would fly too. So he gave a girl a cup of chopped worms and water. The girl drank it and got sick. And she didn't fly. Ew. Tom Edison, the boy who asked all those questions and did those unusual experiments, became the man whose inventions changed the world. I don't think that girl was liking him very much. I don't think I would have liked him very much. Tom Edison was born in 1847 in Milan, Ohio. He was the 7th and youngest child of Sam and Nancy Edison. Sam had a lumber mill. Nancy had been a teacher. When Tom had trouble in school, his mother became his teacher at home. So he was homeschooled. So we're going to move into chapter 2. Remember, we're looking for problems and solutions. Chapter 2. Young Tom did many of his experiments in the cellar of his home. He had lots of jars of chemicals. He wanted to keep people from messing with them. To fix the problem, he had an idea. He wrote poison on each jar. He thought that would keep others away. He was right. So he had a problem. The problem was people might mess with his jars of chemicals. So what did he do? Tom writes poison on each jar. And what was the solution? People leave the jars alone. Did it work? It did. Let's keep reading. There were often smoke, strange smells, and loud noises in the Edison home. It all came from the cellar and from young Tom's experiments. Tom needed money to pay for chemicals and other things. As a result, he got a job when he was 12. He sold newspapers and candies on trains. Then at 15, he began to write, print, and sell his own newspaper for travelers. He named it the Grand Trunk Herald. Tom wrote news of people he met on the train. He also wrote how he felt about work. The more to do, he wrote in his newspaper, the more done. Tom liked to keep busy. Tom kept very busy on the train. He even set up his own lab in the baggage car. So you can see there's a problem here. What's the problem? He needs money to pay for his chemicals. So what does he do? What's his solution? What's his steps to solution? The steps are he sold newspapers and candies on trains, right? So when he sold the newspapers, he made money, then he could buy his chemicals. As Tom got older, he kept doing great things. There were no telephones at the time. Instead, messages were sent through telegraph wires. They were sent in a code of dots and dashes. Tom learned the code. He got a job sending and reading telegraph messages. He found new ways to use the telegraph. Those were some of his first inventions. Chapter 3. This is the chapter that we're going to do together. So I want you to get your paper, put your name on the top, and write chapter 3. Okay, remember, we're looking for the problem, the steps to solution, and then the solution. Okay, so chapter 3. When Tom grew up, he became an inventor. He invented all kinds of things that helped people. At that time, burning gas lights lit homes and streets. Sometimes smoke from the lights filled a room. Sometimes fire from the lights burned a home down. So already we see the problem. And the problem is gas lights filled rooms with smoke. The fire from them could burn a home. So take a minute and copy that down. Gas lights filled rooms with smoke. The fire from them could burn a house. And if you look in your book, they're right here. You can copy the words from your book. Sometimes smoke from the lights filled a room. Sometimes fire from the lights burned a home down. So just take off the word sometimes. Smoke from the lights filled a room. Fire from the lights burned a home down. Okay, you can copy them right from page 215. I'll give you a minute to do that. How are you doing? You almost done? It's very hard for me to judge how long it's going to take you to write this because I can't see you. I'll give you about 22 more seconds. Ten more seconds. And you can always go back and fill it in. Okay, page 216. So remember, the problem is gas lights filled rooms with smoke. The fire from them could burn a home. That's the problem he wants to solve. Tom was sure he could make a better light, so he did experiments with electric light. He had lots of ideas. His notes filled hundreds of notebooks. After more than a year of work, Tom did it. He made a light that was safe to use. The electric light is the light of the future, Tom said, and it will be my light. So, what were the steps? Tom did experiments with electric light. Go ahead and copy that. And it's right in page 216, the second sentence. He did experiments with electric light. So you can see in each chapter of this story of his life, he would see a problem, he would try to solve it, and hopefully he solved it. So it's problem, steps to solution, solution. Okay, we ready to move on? So after he did his experiments, Tom made a safe electric light. So the problem, gas lights filled rooms with smoke. The fire from them could burn a home. Tom did experiments with electric light. And the solution, Tom made a safe electric light. Remember, the whole problem was that those lights were not safe because they filled rooms with smoke and then they might even burn a house down. So here's our problem, steps to solution, and solution. Okay, let's keep reading. Page 217. Edison's lights were big news. People came from all over to see them. Once they saw the Edison lights, they wanted them in their homes. Tom's lights brightened the world. Tom Edison spent his whole life making great things. The things he made helped people everywhere. And here is Tom Edison's photo album. Thomas Alva Edison at age 15. Edison invented the first machine that could record sounds and play them back. Without this, we might have no music players or movies and TV with sound today. Edison made this early music player using his own sound machine. Here's Thomas Edison in his lab in Menlo Park, New Jersey. Edison's light bulb design looks similar to ones we use today. Edison invented the first machine for viewing films. Without this machine, there would be no movies. He really did a lot. So if we go back to look at our story, just the ones that we wrote down, in chapter 1, Tom wondered what would happen if he sat on eggs. So he built a nest, put the eggs in and tried it, and found out the eggs would break. He had a problem, he put some steps into play, and he found his solution. In chapter 2, the problem was people might mess with his jars of chemicals. So he decided to write poison on each jar, and the people left the jars alone. And then, of course, we finished with chapter 3. The problem was that gas lights filled rooms with smoke and could light the houses on fire. So Tom did experiments with electric light and eventually came up with a safe light. So there is your lesson on problem and solution. You should have this one all filled in. Next time, I'll give you a story and ask you to do it on your own. This time, I did it with you. So I'll see you later for math. Bye-bye.